Controversy in Madison is growing over the F-35 fighter jet. Now the public will have more time to comment on it. The Air Force listened to the concerns of Madison lawmakers and extended the public comment on the jet by 30 days, now until November 1st. The Air Force picked Madison's Truax Field as a preferred site to get the next generation jet. But concerns over the noise and the impact on homes and schools near the airport are continuing to grow. Madison City Council recently asked the Air Force to reconsider its selection of Madison, and the city's school board did the same last week. Today on Upfront, another city's experience with the F-35. The Vermont Air Guard recently received two of the high-tech fighter jets. We're talking now with Stuart Ledbetter. He's a reporter at our sister station, WPTZ, in South Burlington, Vermont. Stuart, thanks so much for joining us.
Happy to do it, Matt.
So you guys are kind of at the halfway point in terms of this noise issue. Talk to me about the noise and what it has sounded like, at least from the landing perspective, from the two jets you saw last week.
Well, the first two of 20 arrived last week. They will arrive in phases over the next several months. The two pilots, I would say, landed them very gently. There was no afterburner use. These two have yet to take off, and that's really where we'll know about the full impact of the noise.
How controversial has this been over the last couple of years in your community?
Hugely. The Air Force made the decision to send a fleet of F-35s to the Vermont Guard base back in 2013. So you can see that it's taken quite a long time to get to this point. That followed an exhaustive environmental impact statement and Air Force noise study, which projected that the F-35 would indeed mean a lot more jet noise for the surrounding communities, which is the most densely populated in Vermont, by a factor of up to 4 times more noise when these planes take off and land compared to the F-16 jet. When the planes landed last week, it is a lower sound, it's lower frequency sound compared to the F-16, which is pretty metallic and which used afterburners. The F-35 will not, the Air Guard said, but there has been a lot of community opposition over the jet noise issue, what it will do to property values, to human health, and to children. Elementary schools are well within the high-impact noise zone here.
Yeah, it's a similar timeline and a similar story on a different timeline. When you look at Madison and South Burlington, you have community members, you have municipalities, some lawmakers, some schools voicing this opposition. Through all of that opposition over the past 7 to 10 years, did that change anything from the Air Force's perspective?
It's hard to say that it did, Matt. Surrounding communities, such as you describe, all voted formally to say no thanks to this plane, to ask for perhaps a different plane or for reconsideration. The Air Force Secretary called the governor of Vermont into her office a few years ago and said, "What about all this protest that I hear? Do you want this F-35 in your state, Governor?" And the governor said, "Yes, we do. The opposition is local and it's contained, and folks will get used to it." We've had fighter jets here in Vermont since the end of World War II, and this is something that's a lot of hype that has stirred up local opposition. But the senior U.S. senators and the governors have all pushed the Pentagon to send these planes here.
Yeah, and at the same time, those supporters have made pretty strong arguments, I'm assuming on your end as well, in terms of jobs, economic impact, and the longevity just of the base itself.
That's argument number one for the supporters. The business community, the senior political folks all talk about how if you get the F-35, you've got an airplane that could take you into the future by 30 years or more. This is the Air Force's new fighter. They've really hitched their wagon to this. It is highly, it can be modified in many different ways. And for us, it meant 1,000, 1,100 jobs, securing their future well into the decades ahead. And without it, all bets were off.
The evidence is, as it appears in your community, that the opposition is actually growing as we get closer to the jets actually getting here. Did the Air Force do anything to acknowledge those concerns, to help mitigate some of the sound and maybe alleviate some of the concerns of some community members?
They have promised to. How much a pilot can really do, to be determined. But the Air Force has repeatedly said, the Air Guard has repeatedly said, that they will try to mitigate their impact on the community. They can change their flight pattern a little bit, their takeoff pattern, to not fly directly over schools, for example. They've said, look, we live here too, we want to be good neighbors, but those are verbal assurances that really come without the ability to measure in time.
From your perspective and what you saw on the ground, does a municipality or lawmaker or school district have any ability to change any decision coming from the Air Force?
No.
All right. With that, Stuart Ledbetter. Hey, Stuart, thank you so much for your time from our sister station in South Burlington, Vermont.
Good to be with you, Matt.
Thank you. Next, 2020 will be full of elections in Wisconsin.